प्रवर्तन एजेंसियों के बीच अधिक तालमेल पर जोर। इसके साथ ही समाचार संध्या का ये अंक समाप्त हुआ। नमस्कार।
Good evening. This is Akashvani and I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the news at 9. The headlines. Microsoft software outage disrupts multiple services worldwide. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw says reason for outage has been identified and updates have been released to resolve the issue. New Delhi appeals to Indian nationals in Bangladesh to follow advisory issued by the High Commission in Dhaka due to anti-quota protests. President Droupadi Murmu presents 94 Distinguished Service Awards to serving and retired personnel of armed forces and Indian Coast Guard. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar emphasizes need of urgent action to tackle climate change. Home Minister Amit Shah stresses upon greater synergy between security and law enforcement agencies to dismantle terror networks and the supporting ecosystem. And in Women's Asia Cup T20 cricket, Pakistan set a target of 109 runs against defending champions India in Dambulla, Sri Lanka. Millions of people around the globe have been affected by widespread Microsoft software outage. It has impacted IT network of multiple businesses, banking services and international airlines worldwide. In India, check-in systems for Indigo, Akasa and SpiceJet airlines were down nationwide. The airline across the globe reported that the check-in systems were experiencing a global outage since morning. The Mumbai airport has been the hardest hit, while the impact at Delhi airport remains minimal, with most disruptions occurring in Terminal 2. We have a report.
The Indian Computer Emergency Response Team (CERT-IN) has issued an advisory in the wake of the Microsoft Windows outage. The advisory added that if hosts are still crashing and unable to stay online to receive the channel file changes, certain steps can be used as workaround for this, including booting Windows into safe mode or the Windows recovery environment and booting the host normally. It also advised the users to check the latest updates from CrowdStrike portal. Union IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said that his ministry is in touch with Microsoft and its associates regarding the global outage. He said the reason for this outage has been identified and updates have been released to resolve the issue. The minister also informed that the National Informatics Center's network is not affected. The outage also caused the grounding and cancellation of flights across the United States. The ongoing widespread outage is reportedly related to US-based cybersecurity provider CrowdStrike. The company said the engineering teams are actively working to resolve the issue. Many users in India as well have reported an outage in Microsoft services on Down Detector. The IT issues are also affecting other countries, with outages reported from New Zealand and Japan. Ling Byakhoy, Akashvani News, Desk Report.
External Affairs Minister's appeal to Indian nationals in Bangladesh to follow the advisory issued by the High Commission in Dhaka yesterday due to anti-quota protest. It also urged them to be in touch with the High Commission. The High Commission in Dhaka and Assistant High Commissions are available on helpline numbers for any assistance required by Indian nationals. Briefing media in Delhi this afternoon, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Randir Jaiswal said around 15,000 Indian nationals, including 8,500 students, reside in the neighboring country.
We have issued a travel advisory for people to be in touch with the High Commission and for us to render any assistance that they may need. External Affairs Minister is himself monitoring the situation. The High Commission will be giving regular updates on the situation there. We will also be giving regular updates, and we urge all family members of Indian nationals who reside in Bangladesh to be in touch, follow us for regular updates. We remain committed to provide all possible assistance to our nationals.
They spoke protests in Bangladesh as an internal matter of the neighboring country. Meanwhile, that toll is reached 39 in the anti-quota protests in Bangladesh. Violence escalated in the country over protests by students demanding reforms in the quota system for government jobs. As a result of the unrest, television news channels in Bangladesh are off air, telecommunications has been disrupted, and many newspaper websites and social media accounts are inactive. Mobile internet has also been temporarily suspended in the country in the wake of the protests. On the vessel which capsized near Oman, the External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said search and rescue operation is underway.
We have been able to locate and rescue 9 people, which includes 8 Indian nationals and 1 Sri Lankan. These 9 are part of the crew members. In all, there were 16 people on board, so 16 crew members. 1 person has died, remaining 6 are still missing, and efforts are on to locate them as well.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke to his Ukrainian counterpart this afternoon and discussed issues of mutual interest. Briefing media in New Delhi this afternoon, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal said India has several engagements with Ukraine, including bilateral and institutional mechanisms. Replying to the query, Mr. Jaiswal said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had gone to Russia to attend the annual summit between India and Russia recently. He said that during the occasion, Prime Minister made his thoughts clear on violence and innocent people being impacted in violence. President Droupadi Murmu today presented 94 Distinguished Service Awards to the serving and retired personnel of the Armed Forces and Indian Coast Guard. She conferred 31 Param Vishisht Seva medals, 4 Uttam Yudh Seva medal, 2 Bar 2 Ati Vishisht Seva medals, and 57 Ati Vishisht Seva medals. The President conferred the award during Defence Investiture Ceremony 2024, Phase 2 at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi today. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, and Delhi LG Vinay Kumar Saxena were among those present in the function. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed happiness over the inputs received for the upcoming edition of Mann Ki Baat program. The program is scheduled to be broadcast on the 28th of this month. In a social media post today, Mr. Modi said he is getting numerous inputs for the upcoming Mann Ki Baat program. The Prime Minister said he is happy to see several youngsters, in particular, highlight collective efforts aimed at transforming society. Mr. Modi urged people to keep sharing inputs on MyGov, the Namo app, or record the message on 1800117800. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our X handle at AIR News Alerts. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has said that urgent action is required to tackle the climate change. He said these changes not only endanger vulnerable populations but also threaten biodiversity and food security. The Vice President expressed concern that the climate change has emerged as a global disaster, manifested as escalating sea levels, prolonged droughts, intensified wildfires, and unprecedented storms worldwide. The Vice President was addressing the valedictory session of the 4th International Climate Summit on Bioenergy Path to Viksit Bharat, organized by PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry in New Delhi today. He also mentioned about 3R strategy, saying that reduce, reuse, recycle is not just a mantra, but it is a collective battle cry in the war against climate change.
We have set a target to achieve 50% of its installed electricity capacity from non-fossil fuel-based energy sources by 2030 and achieving net zero by 2070. You will be happy to note India is among lead nations to be working earnestly in this direction. India has set this target and working for it in a significant manner by taking several affirmative steps of policies and innovation.
Talking to Akashvani News, Dr. J.B. Gupta, Chairman, Environment and Climate Change Committee, or PhD CCI, said that the government has taken a lot of initiatives to mitigate climate change.
Life purpose by our Honorable Prime Minister should become a mission for the entire world if they want to work on climate change. And in this, the most important thing is that the global peace is equally important for playing a role of the climate change mitigation.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah today chaired a high-level meeting with various heads of security and law enforcement agencies in New Delhi to review the functioning of Multi-Agency Center of Intelligence Bureau responsible for tackling security challenges in the country. Addressing the meeting, Mr. Shah instructed various heads of security agencies from across the country and other intelligence and enforcement agencies to adopt a whole-of-the-government approach towards national security. He stressed upon greater synergy between all the agencies to dismantle the terror networks and the supporting ecosystem to address the evolving security threat scenario of the country. The Supreme Court today agreed to examine the contours of Article 361 of the Constitution, which grants blanket immunity to governors from any kind of criminal prosecution. The top court's order came on a plea of former woman employee of West Bengal Raj Bhavan, who has alleged molestation by Governor C.V. Anand Bose and her wrongful confinement by the officials there. Union Public Service Commission UPSC has conducted a detailed and thorough investigation in the misdemeanor of Pooja Khetkar, a provisionally recommended candidate of the Civil Services Examination 2022. It said that the investigation revealed that she fraudulently availed attempts beyond the permissible limit under the examination rules by faking her identity by way of changing her name, her father's and mother's name, her photograph and signature, her email ID, mobile number, and address. Union Textiles Minister Giriraj Singh today said his department wants to expand the size of the textile sector in the country from the present $176 billion to $350 billion. Addressing media after the textile investors meet in Patna, Mr. Singh said his ministry has fixed a $100 billion export target in the sector. The minister said states like Bihar have huge potential in textiles and garment sector. He said textile clusters like Betia and Muzaffarpur are successfully working, and Begusarai will be developed as a third cluster of the state. The government will introduce 6 new bills, including the one to amend the disaster management law in the monsoon session of Parliament beginning next week. Besides the finance bill, the government has listed the Bharatiya Vayuyan Vidayak 2024 to replace the Aircraft Act of 1934 to provide enabling provisions for the ease of doing business in the civil aviation sector. India Meteorological Department has forecast isolated extremely heavy rainfall over coastal Andhra Pradesh and Yanam, South Odisha and South Chhattisgarh today, and over Vidarbha and Telangana today and tomorrow, under the influence of depression currently over northwest and adjoining west central Bay of Bengal. Isolated extremely heavy rainfall is very likely over Konkan and Goa, coastal Karnataka and south interior Karnataka today and tomorrow. Isolated extremely heavy rainfall is also very likely over Gujarat today and on the 21st and 22nd of July. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into northwest and adjoining west central Bay of Bengal and along and off North Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal and adjoining Bangladesh coast today and tomorrow. Torrential rains lashed several parts of Saurashtra in Gujarat today. We have more from a correspondent.
Widespread rain was recorded in coastal districts of Saurashtra today. As per the data provided by State Emergency Operations Center, Dwarka city recorded the highest 12 inches of rainfall till 6 p.m. today. The city received 8 inches of rainfall in just 2 hours, leading to waterlogging at several places. Porbandar, Keshod, Vantli, Kalyanpur and Khambalia are the worst affected regions due to rains. Porbandar city received more than 20 inches of rainfall during the last 36 hours. District administration has rescued around 11 people stranded in water, whereas nearly 200 people living in low-lying areas have been shifted to safer places and provided shelters. Heavy rains also disrupted the rail and road transport in Saurashtra region. Meanwhile, Met Department has issued red alert for 9 districts of Saurashtra and South Gujarat for the coming 2 days. Aparna Kund, Akashvani News, Ahmedabad.
In the Women's Asia Cup Cricket T20, Pakistan have set a target of 109 runs before defending champions India on the opening day of the tournament in Dambulla, Sri Lanka. Electing to bat first, Pakistani team were all out at 108 runs in 19.2 overs. For Indian team, Deepti Sharma claimed the highest 3 wickets. In reply, India were 82 for no loss in 8.4 overs when last reports came in. In tennis, Rafael Nadal is facing Argentina's Mariano Navone in the ongoing men's singles quarterfinal of the Swedish Open. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Microsoft software outage disrupts multiple services worldwide. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw says the reason for outage has been identified and updates have been released to resolve the issue. New Delhi appeals to Indian nationals in Bangladesh to follow advisory issued by High Commission in Dhaka due to anti-quota protests. President Droupadi Murmu presents 94 Distinguished Service Awards to serving and retired personnel of Armed Forces and Indian Coast Guard. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar emphasizes need of urgent action to tackle climate change. Home Minister Amit Shah stresses upon greater synergy between security and law enforcement agencies to dismantle terror networks and the supporting ecosystem. And in Women's Asia Cup T20 cricket, Pakistan set a target of 109 runs against defending champions India. And that is all in the news.